Welcome back to TPS. The 2019 NFL offseason has been wacky. It's been a long time since we saw so many Pro Bowl players get traded. A Super Bowl MVP has a new home just 1 year after leading his team to a championship. A bunch of future Hall of Famers found new homes in free agency. The 2019 draft already looks like it could be one of the greatest in recent memory. We already listed the 10 worst offseason moves of 2019, so we figured we should list the best ones as well. That's what we do here at TPS. I'm Justin Fraction, and today we present the 10 greatest moves of the 2019 offseason. At TPS, we post videos every single day, so don't forget to click the subscribe button to subscribe. Then click the notification bell to be notified when we post a new video. And if you have an idea for a cool video, write it down in the comment section. We'll take a look at it. If we haven't done it before and we like it, we will have someone write it, or one of us will write it, and then you'll see it on the channel, and we'll give you a shout out. So don't forget to leave those down below. We'll check into them. Number 10, Eagles bring back DeSean Jackson. Former Philadelphia Eagles head coach Chip Kelly surprisingly cut speedster DeSean Jackson after the 2013 season. D-Jax was a three-time Pro Bowler in Philly with a trio of 1,000-yard seasons under his belt. Jackson made stops in Washington and Tampa Bay as well, but after a frustrating 2018 season with the Bucs, Jackson asked for a trade and he was sent back home to Philly for nothing more than a 6th-round pick. Jackson joins a high-flying Philly offense that consists of Pro Bowler Alshon Jeffrey, vastly underrated tight end Zach Ertz, flashy running back Jordan Howard, and rookie J.J. Arcega-Whiteside. Jackson gives Carson Wentz another vertical deep threat to complement Jeffrey, and for Jackson, he gets a prime chance to win a Super Bowl championship as his career begins to wind down. Number 9, 49ers acquire Dee Ford from KC. The San Francisco 49ers entered 2018 with playoff aspirations, but the season went to waste after quarterback Jimmy Garoppolo tore his ACL in Week 3. General Manager John Lynch didn't want to stand pat this season, so he went about adding more and more pieces to a potential championship puzzle. Lynch's first big move was acquiring outside linebacker Dee Ford from the Kansas City Chiefs for a 2020 second-round pick. Ford is coming off a career year in which he registered 13 sacks and 7 forced fumbles. Of course, nobody can forget his offside penalty in the AFC title game that nullified a game-ending interception off Tom Brady. But Ford gets to move on to the next chapter of his career, joining a promising San Fran team that added Nick Bosa and Quan Alexander to an already stout defensive line. With Solomon Thomas and DeForest Buckner also in the fold, San Fran has a chance to form the league's best pass rush in 2019. Adding an established veteran like Ford for a second-round pick was a coup for Lynch, and he inked Ford to a shiny $87.5 million extension after the trade. Now the 49ers defense is ready for takeoff, and the team is set to compete hard for a playoff berth in 2019. Number 8, Ravens sign Earl Thomas. Led by a powerful, hard-hitting defense, the Baltimore Ravens won the AFC North in 2018, ending a 4-year playoff drought. But the Ravens didn't just want to stick with the current group they had. New GM Eric DeCosta wanted to make it even greater, so he signed perennial Pro Bowl safety Earl Thomas to a 4-year contract worth $55 million in the offseason. Thomas missed all but 4 games in 2018 after suffering a broken leg. But when healthy, he's arguably the best ball-hawking safety in football. The money is a lot for a guy entering his age 30 season, but hey, the Ravens didn't complain about what an older Eric Weddle brought to the table for 3 years. Thomas joins a Baltimore defense that allowed the fewest yards against in 2018, when it also finished second in scoring defense by allowing just 17 points per game. Thomas joins a secondary led by rising star Marlon Humphrey and veteran Brandon Carr. The rich only got richer here, and with Thomas bolstering a championship-caliber defense, the Ravens are poised to make a run at the Super Bowl in 2019. Number 7, Steelers trade up for Devin Bush. Pittsburgh Steelers GM Kevin Colbert deserves plenty of credit for quickly rebuilding the defense into a top-tier unit. Following the departures of franchise greats like Troy Polamalu, Brett Keisel, and James Harrison, among others, Colbert still wanted to add more juice to a defense that ranked 6th in 2018. With Ryan Shazier not playing in 2019 and maybe never again, the Steelers knew that they had to find a linebacker. And so Colbert traded up with the Denver Broncos to select Michigan linebacker Devin Bush with the number 10 pick. Bush isn't big by linebacker standards at 5'11", 225 pounds, but he is blessed with tremendous speed and elite athleticism. He'll do wonders for defensive coordinator Keith Butler, only adding more beef to a front seven that already has Cameron Hayward and TJ Watt. Pittsburgh's defense kept them around in the playoff race during the 2018 season. If they return to title contention in 2019, Butler's unit will be a big reason why. Expect a solid rookie year from Bush, who could emerge as the leader of this defense in short time. Number 6, Dolphins get their QB of the future. The Miami Dolphins wisely ended the Ryan Tannehill era this offseason, trading him to the Tennessee Titans after a frustrating 7-year tenure. However, they didn't land prized free agent Nick Foles, and their draft position gave Miami no hope at getting Kyler Murray. It looked like Miami would have to wait until 2020 to find their QB of the future, but oh how fortunate the Dolphins were that the Arizona Cardinals opted to take Murray with the first overall pick. That means the Cardinals had no more use for Josh Rosen, whom they selected with the number 10 pick in the 2018 draft. Rosen had some growing pains in his rookie year, but he has an extremely high ceiling and should be Miami's long-term solution behind center. And that's a very good thing because this team hasn't had a legitimate number 1 QB since Dan Marino, and that was 2 decades ago. The Dolphins began a massive rebuild this offseason, so they're not going to be winning much for a while, but simply landing a young franchise QB for nothing more than 2nd and 5th round selections is a massive win for GM Chris Grier. The Dolphins won't be too competitive in 2019 or 20, but they won't be boring. Fans can just sit back and enjoy watching Rosen slowly lead them into a new era of football in South Beach. Number 5, Jets draft Quinnen Williams. Everybody knew for a while that Kyler Murray and Nick Bosa would be the number 1 and 2 picks respectively. The Jets had plenty of options with the number 3 pick, but it's hard to complain about what former GM Mike McCagnon did with this selection. He drafted Alabama defensive end Quinnen Williams, adding another monster piece to a defense loaded with young talent. The unit that starts with Pro Bowl safety Jamal Adams and underrated pass rushing stud Leonard Williams. The Jets added a franchise-changing player to their young core. Williams is going to make an impact right away under the new defensive coordinator, Greg Williams. Too many Williams to keep track of, we know, but the Jets won't be complaining. Gang Green could have even looked at trading down here, but we love the simplicity of just taking the best player available. Williams is primed for a big rookie year, and he's just the latest piece on a super young team with so much talent. Heads up, Jets fans, the future has never been brighter. Number 4, Redskins draft Dwayne Haskins. The Redskins found themselves in quite the pickle of a quarterback situation. Alex Smith fared nicely before he broke his leg mid-season. Second stringer Colt McCoy suffered the same fate. That left the team in a bind. 2 good quarterbacks, both aging veterans, trying to come back from career-threatening injuries. Well, the Redskins got some insurance by trading for journeyman Case Keenum. But Bruce Allen hit his biggest home run ever at the draft, drafting Ohio State quarterback Dwayne Haskins with the number 15 selection. And with that, the Redskins have their quarterback of the future. Some wondered if Haskins would go in the top 10, and Washington just had to sit there and cross their fingers. And without having to trade up, Allen got his man just by staying patient. This was a huge win for the Redskins, to say the least. He probably won't be the starter in 2019, but Haskins will take over as the franchise QB one day. We don't say this too much, but the Redskins approached the draft perfectly. They have 4 capable starters on their depth chart. Head coach Jay Gruden won't be short of options in 2019. Last time we checked, that's a positive. Number 3, Jaguars win Nick Foles sweepstakes. As everybody expected, the Philadelphia Eagles chose Carson Wentz over Super Bowl 52 MVP Nick Foles. But thanks to those 2 strong showings in Philly over the 2017 and 18 seasons, Foles went from career backup to an $88 million man. The Jacksonville Jaguars finally gave up on Blake Bortles and cut him after another frustrating season. It's hard to complain about GM David Caldwell replacing Bortles with Foles, who played in at MVP level during his days with the Eagles. Some are scoffing at the Jaguars for giving $88 million to Foles over 4 years. But so what? He's an automatic upgrade over Bortles, and Foles only has to play at an average or above average level for Jacksonville to win. They already have a powerful rushing game and perhaps the most dominant defense in the league. Jaguars offensive coordinator John DeFilippo, by the way, was Philly's quarterback's coach when Foles led them to a Super Bowl. That should help the latter produce nicely in Jacksonville's offense. In landing Foles, the Jaguars are ready to compete for the AFC throne after a down year in 2018. When all is said and done, the Jags just might look back on the Foles signing as the biggest franchise-changing move in their history. Number 2, Raiders trade for Antonio Brown. The Pittsburgh Steelers unraveled late in the season and missed the playoffs. Wide receiver Antonio Brown also sat out the team's Week 17 game as his relationship with Ben Roethlisberger and other teammates began to sour. Even though Brown is only the best wide receiver in the NFL, the Steelers had no choice but to end the drama and deal their disgruntled superstar. And so, Oakland Raiders head coach John Gruden stepped up and acquired the all-pro wideout, having to surrender only 3rd and 5th round draft choices in return. And with that, the Raiders have their first Pro Bowl wideout since, well, Amari Cooper. Gruden saw his opportunity to land a world-class player and game changer, and he got it without having to give up much. We're not here to tell you the Raiders will contend in 2019, but they won't be unwatchable anymore. Gruden knew he had to find a big-time impact player for Derek Carr, and they won't come any better than AB. This is a low-risk move, but the reward is sky high. Congrats on the Raiders on landing Antonio Brown. And if Brown behaves himself, the Raiders offense could be a near unstoppable machine in 2019. And number 1, Browns land OBJ from Giants. The Cleveland Browns already had the talent in place to be a serious playoff contender in 2019. GM John Dorsey could have stood pat in the trade and free agent markets, and we wouldn't have complained at all. But this is Dorsey, one of the most aggressive and assertive men in the football business. He wasn't pleased with just Baker Mayfield, Jarvis Landry, Kareem Hunt, and Nick Chubb on offense. So he went out and acquired superstar wide receiver Odell Beckham Jr. from the New York Giants for a return of Jabril Peppers, the number 17 pick in the draft and a third-round selection. Maybe those pieces don't pan out nicely for the Giants, but we know that OBJ is primed for big things in the land. Cleveland now has a rising star at quarterback, 2 productive running backs, and a pair of Pro Bowl wide receivers. Jarvis, Landry, and Beckham are already the best wide receiver duo in the NFL. What can we say? This is going to be so much fun, and even non-Browns fans like me can't wait to see this offense take flight. The Browns went from historically horrible in 2017 to up and coming in 2018 to suddenly a Super Bowl contender in 2019. Getting OBJ was a cherry on top of a wonderful last 2 off seasons for Dorsey. This is going to change the NFL landscape. Take it to the bank. We can't wait to see the Browns in action. And no, we never thought we'd say that before either, but here we are. What do you think was the best move of the 2019 NFL offseason? Let us know your thoughts in the comment section down below. And don't forget to like, comment, and subscribe. We'll see you guys next time.